Hey, welcome back. Or welcome, if this is your first time here. I've always had a love for the classic movie monsters, from werewolves and mummies, all the way to vampires. Well, vampires just so happen to be the focus of today's X-Files episode. Today we're checking out 3, episode 7 of season 2. Debuting November 4th, 1994 on the Fox network, 3 follows Agent Mulder as he tracks down a trio of vampires in Los Angeles with one sexy vampire who is looking to escape her bloodthirsty ways. The episode starts during a nice wildfire in California, or it could just be a homeless encampment, I'm not sure. Charlton Heston enjoys a nice glass of wine, but he's not alone.
I want you to know I don't do this. I'm not one of those guys that sends his family on vacation just so he can...
Actually, he looks exactly like the kind of guy that would send his family away for a random hookup. I really don't want to watch this old man get his freak on. Lady Death here takes things a tad too far when she decides to take a little nibble out of his arm. But the worst is yet to come because her friends decide to make it a foursome. Well, it's been a while since anyone has been in this office, although I'm surprised they didn't just move everything out and turn it into a janitor's room. Of course, Mulder would have a swimsuit calendar in his professional FBI office, but it looks like it's been at least 7 months since the closing of the X-Files. That's gotta be a rough one. Scully went from not believing in them to becoming one herself. He should hang on to that cross though, because he may just need it. Mulder gets one random call and he's already on the scene of the murder from the beginning. But it doesn't take long for the local PD to get upset at just the mere fact that Mulder is even there. It's always a dick-swinging contest between Mulder and local police.
There's a file on the previous murders. I've studied it. I've studied them. I've been waiting 3 months for them to reappear.
Well, he may have been waiting 3 months for them to reappear, but this is the first I'm hearing about it. The victims in all the cases were drained of their blood, with bite marks on their necks and all the mirrors smashed. So it's either vampires or those damn Eves have returned.
He who eats of my flesh and drinks of my blood shall have eternal life. And I will raise him up on the last day.
I guess Mulder isn't as based as I thought he was, because there isn't a John chapter 52. The quote comes from John chapter 6 verse 54. Get it together, Mulder. These vampires see themselves as some kind of an unholy trinity and use syringes to extract and store blood for a quick fix later on. And I'm just gonna say it, I have a weird thing with blood and needles, so this episode is already making me feel a little woozy.
An FBI agent without a partner?
Well, he had one. Well, 2, but it's a bit complicated. Because of the fires, the detective can't really free up any resources to help Mulder, but he only needs one thing anyways: a phone book. He calls some local blood banks and finds one that just so happened to hire a new night watchman. So of course, using his 147 IQ, deduces that he should probably check it out.
Easy, man, easy!
If this was anyone but Mulder, that guy probably would have been shot. The man brings Mulder downstairs where the night watchman is supposed to be, but something seems amiss. He uses a mirror to look around a corner, but doesn't see anything.
Federal agent!
Oh, caught in the act there, buddy. But you never get high on your own supply. Mulder apprehends the man and brings him down to the station, but he doesn't seem to be a fan of the lights.
Turn off the lights! Turn them off! You're killing me! Turn them off!
Now, I'm no expert on vampires, but since when do light bulbs harm them? I mean, sure, there's garlic, crosses, wooden stakes, decapitation, sunlight, holy water, running water, swords, falling, lightning, fire, but light bulbs? That's just ridiculous. Mulder brings in a light with a red gel sheet over it, and I guess this stops the light from killing him somehow?
I'll only talk to him.
These two get up so quick, it's almost like they didn't want to be there to begin with. This guy legit thinks he's a vampire, and he believes Mulder knows it too. He calls himself the Son, along with the Father and the Unholy Spirit. He doesn't believe what he does is murder and compares it to a snake eating a fly, which Mulder corrects him by saying frogs eat flies.
I can't be seen in a mirror.
Except we literally just did. This guy thinks he's gonna live forever, but Mulder isn't so sure.
It's more likely I'll be looking into your eyes at the moment before they lead you into the gas chamber.
Mulder asks him to give up the others, but he claims he won't because they're the only ones who can kill him. So Mulder decides to test him and his claims by locking him in a room that will gradually fill with sunlight. Until he decides he wants to talk anyways.
He wants to talk. Cover the windows and call me.
What if he turns into a bat and flies out through the bars?
Of course the other detectives mock Mulder, but not even Mulder believes his claims. He's just playing along to get him to speak. Alright, maybe he wasn't lying about the whole vampire thing after all. Although depending on what time of the day it is, if the sun is rising, there should be less and less sunlight coming in through the windows as the sun moves overhead, not more.
These are indications of long exposure to extreme temperatures, not a sunburn for 15 seconds.
Mulder is now starting to believe that what he is dealing with may in fact be vampires, and this revelation seems to have disturbed the doctor. But just how many doctors is one man going to play in one TV show? Despite the sun being burnt to a crisp, there just happens to be one good patch of skin on his hand with a stamp that says Club Teps. I don't know why goths have to be so on the nose when naming their hangouts. Mulder looks a little out of his element here, but that doesn't matter because who's this?
You've lost someone. Not a lover, a friend.
Scully hasn't even gone one damn week and Mulder is already looking for a replacement. Our mystery woman named Kristen takes Mulder somewhere private, but I'm smelling a setup. For the love of God, can we just stop with the needles? Yes, there's nothing more sensual than drinking one another's blood.
AIDS.
AIDS.
AIDS. AIDS. AIDS. AIDS and
AIDS.
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 AIDS. AIDS. AIDS. AIDS and 9/11.
Looks like Mulder ruined his chances with Kristen because he wouldn't drink her blood, so she just moved on to someone else who will. I have the same look on my face as Mulder right now. Mulder decides to follow Kristen because he's somewhat of a voyeur. But before things can get too spicy, Mulder gets spotted and now Kristen is on the run. Before he can catch her though, he gets clocked by her date who takes offense to Mulder's perversion. If only this idiot knew what Mulder knew.
Don't worry, I took care of that guy. Told you I'd protect you.
I'm not so sure she's the one that needs protecting. Mulder canvasses the murder scene and finds Kristen's makeup, which oddly enough has no mirror. He does find some fingerprints which could belong to Kristen.
Well, the bites are not done by an animal. These are human. And I'd say they were made by 3 different people.
Kristen seems to be around death a lot because wherever she lives, there tends to be similar murders. Mulder arrives at her current residence along with the police with a warrant to search her place. They find some needles, a snakebite kit, ooh, Sunny D. Blood bread. Mulder says she's gone and won't be back, but then seconds later we see her return. So much for the 147 IQ.
Special Agent Fox Mulder, Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Alright, so I guess he knew she would come back. He just wanted everyone else to leave so he could have her for himself. He says he's there to protect her, but come on buddy, you're not fooling anyone. She tells him a really weird story about meeting the sun and getting into blood sports together, which I don't want to know what that entails. But then one night he brought the other 2 home with him, and that's when things finally became a little too much for Little Miss Blood Drinker here.
He's trying to ward me off.
It's from someone I lost.
Well, this is awkward. I'm sure he'll tell her about Scully though, or he's just gonna let her shave him instead? Seriously, Scully has been gone for like what, a week? Uh-oh, looks like the ex-lover is a tad jealous. Also, wasn't he a burnt corpse just hours ago? So he stuck around, waited until they, finished so he could tell her he actually is a vampire and was just as surprised as anyone else.
Kill him. We'll be together.
Only Mulder could get himself in a situation with a sexy vampire lady who has a crazed ex. If she kills Mulder and drinks his blood, because he's a believer, she'll become a fully fledged vampire just like the son, I guess.
I'll be right there.
Instead of killing Mulder, she instead takes her frustration out on the father, who is just chilling in the dark. Kristen tells Mulder the son is still alive, so they hightail it as the fires get closer to the house. The son is a weak-ass vampire. Even being in the full mount position, he still gets his ass kicked by Mulder. Mulder ties him to a pole, and he takes Kristen to the garage where her car is. But before they can leave, they get attacked by yet another vampire. Nice save by Kristen though. Kristen won't leave without the son though, because even though he is a vampire, she still loves him, I guess. It doesn't matter though. What does matter is it's suddenly daylight now, even though just seconds ago it was night. Kristen sure is fast though. She leaves with the car, only to get out and go back to the house to pour gasoline everywhere.
No! No! No!
Let's not jump to conclusions, she might be okay.
I'm sorry. We found 4 bodies. All dead.
Or maybe not. Oh right, I completely forgot Scully was a thing. Also, is that cloud in the background intentionally supposed to look like a sexy vampire lady? 3 is a standard Monster of the Week episode akin to something like Shapes. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's fun enough. Not nearly as good as another vampire episode that we will cover later in the future. It's funny seeing just what Mulder can get up to without Scully in the picture, and I'm wondering if this was just always the norm for him before she joined him on the X-Files. 3 currently has a 6.3 rating on IMDb, and I would give it a 6, maybe a 7. This is the first episode in the series in which Scully does not appear, obviously because she was birthing her alien baby. Originally, Howard Gordon was set to write this episode, but because of unforeseen circumstances, he became unavailable, so writing team Glenn Morgan and James Wong came aboard. They used a script from a freelance writer, making many edits to it, but they did keep most of the main plot themes surrounding the 3 vampires. The original script focused a lot more on blood fetishism, but because of the censors, this was significantly toned down. But I'm not so sure I want to know what else they had planned. Neither Morgan or Wong were happy with the finished product. They felt the censors overall weakened the script, and Morgan himself wasn't too keen on doing an episode about vampires in the first place. David Nutter, the director, said about his experience on this episode, "It's a very different show because it's the first one without Scully. She's been away for quite some time. It's a situation where Mulder is in a dark place, doesn't know which way to turn, and is really much on his own. The whole vampire thing happened because he went to a dark place that he normally wouldn't have gone to. A large contingent of the viewer base, mostly female shippers, were upset with the episode because how dare Mulder get involved with another woman, even though he and Scully weren't actually a thing. Series creator Chris Carter said, "I thought, this guy's a monk. Let's let him be a human. Especially in Scully's absence, it seemed like a perfect opportunity to do it." The seductive vampire herself, Kristen, was played by David Duchovny's then-girlfriend, Perry Reeves. The two were together for a few years, but what's with David and bringing girlfriends or wives into the show? Perry Reeves is an American-born actress, most known for her role as Mrs. Ari in the hit HBO show Entourage. But looking into her acting credits, I see she was in Child's Play 3 as De Silva, which finally makes me realize why she was always so familiar looking to me, as I've seen Child's Play 3 a million times, and this just never dawned on me until now.
Man, I really gotta get out of this body.
3 is a decent Monster of the Week episode. It's not going to win any awards, but there's way worse you could be watching. If you have not seen this one, I would say check it out. Well, that's all for today, kiddies. Check back soon as Scully makes her triumphant return. Well, that didn't take long. In the episode, One Breath. Please subscribe if you haven't, and drive a wooden stake right through that like button. Thank you all for watching, and stay spooky.
They only come out at night. They drink human blood. Agent Mulder never believed in vampires, but Friday, he'll be seduced by one.
I'll do things with you no one's ever done.
Don't miss The X-Files. Friday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.